Hey, howdy ho! My name is Madchan, and I wanted to make a video for you guys today featuring the top 10 complaints that I've seen on the internet from you guys about Story of Seasons, Grand Bazaar. Now, obviously, Grand Bazaar has been highly regarded in the farming sim community. It is getting so many positive things said about it. Everyone is playing it, can't put it down when you get started, unless there are a few things that could be fixed, right? And it doesn't mean that it's a bad game. It just means there are things that could be improved, right? So, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so now and liking the video. I want to get as many people on here as possible and commenting with, here's your task. I want you to comment your favorite thing about the game as well as your least favorite thing about the game. Let's see what everyone says, eh? Not a heavy hitter, but it was mentioned a few times. The save game feature. Many of you have played Story of Seasons or Harvest Moon games in the past and know that there was once a time where you could only save from your diary located on your nightstand. In this version, you have to be inside the main house to save the game. This can be a nuisance for festival days or when random events happen and you want to save beforehand. Many players have said there are too many wool products that clog up storage and the windmills. There are 4 total types of woolly animals and their products, including regular sheep which produce wool, Suffolk sheep which produce Suffolk wool, alpacas which produce white alpaca fur, and brown alpacas which produce brown alpaca fur. Say that 5 times fast. The 4 types, in addition to the endless quality levels, can create a monstrous storage conundrum for players. Not only that, but the differentiation between types of alpacas and sheep seems a little unnecessary when selecting a category for entry in the Animal Festival. It would take years in-game to win the gold in each category, and you'd have to keep your original bronze winners to enter in each following level. Another major issue players have with the game is how fast the game day proceeds. In games past, the time clock stopped when the player was inside houses or shops, but the only way to stop the clock is to manually pause the game. The chief concern with the speed of the day is that there are so many options for what the player can do with their day, such as exploring the mountain, fishing, making social rounds, regular animal and crop care, gathering quest items, visiting windmills, etc. When the game does not pause and the player is penalized for staying up late by losing more time the next day, it can create some angst. For many, life after marriage is sorely lacking in content. The first year is full of cutscenes and events, and most players can get married by their second year. There is some understandable disappointment in how few post-marriage events there are in-game. Most events with your spouse are related to having a child. So, if the player does not want children, they will be sorely lacking in events. Another related topic is rival marriage. Many players miss this feature in games past because it makes the world feel more alive and not stagnant. Although there are rival events after you give them your blessing, there is no rival marriage in this game. We gotta talk about the horse in the room. In this game, the player is given a horse by Ramon in summer of the first year, just in time for the summer horse race. Many players have expressed their dismay at how useless the horse is in this game. For one, the player can now travel with the glider, which is a way more fun and more effective way to tackle the mountainous landscape of Zephyrtown. It is quite difficult to ride the horse without running into everything and everyone, since the camera angle doesn't really give much of a heads up, and the paths twist and turn through the many hills and mountains of this map. Let's not even talk about the horse race. Picking up items one by one. This one doesn't need much explanation. Everyone who has played this game knows what I'm talking about. Each crop space yields a large number when harvested, and upgrading tools such as the sickle makes harvesting super easy and fun in this game. When the player's bag has the space for it, that is. When their bag is full and they try to harvest many crops at once, it can be quite the nightmare. Additionally, it takes stamina to pick up items, so having to pick up 50 grains of rice is not only annoying, it can create a problem for the player with low energy, limited time left before the day ends, and a closing window for picking up items before it disappears forever. We're creeping closer into the territory of storage issues, but first let's talk about building materials. You ask, why do they have quality rankings? I have thought this so many times as I've created stone and lumber in the windmill. Adding 5 pieces together to make one of better quality, it can really take up a lot of space if you've been giving forageables to Ivy. Besides a few requests, such as stall requirements, the ranking system for stone and lumber really has been mostly meaningless. Along these same lines, the bugs having quality rankings also seems redundant and just starts taking up a lot of space. We've made it to the top 3 complaints you have with Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, and the people have spoken. You hate fishing. In this game, there are many fish types to discover in-game, and so many spots for fishing. But many players have expressed that with how time-consuming the minigame is, and the trash versus fish RNG, the payoff is not giving us that dopamine hit we need to keep going. The main issue seems to be with the minigame. Players say it's simply not fun and is there for the sake of consuming time, which ruins the whole experience. A secondary complaint related to fishing is that when giving fish to Finley, or any sprite for that matter, there is no way to toggle over the bonus items at the top, leaving a lot of guesswork for the player when trying to decide where to fish and what fish to trade in. Many of the fish look similar, so it would be helpful to have the name with the picture. Cooking and using the windmills is not super difficult, but it's not the easiest either, since the player has no connected access to their storage in order to know what materials are available when browsing the recipes. There are so many cooking recipes, and that's great, but that means the player has to do mental gymnastics to remember what unique items are needed for each recipe. And on top of that, items that are lower in freshness will separate into a different inventory space. This makes cooking difficult as well because you have limited bag space. Likewise, crafting items in the windmill would be a little easier if the player had connected storage access to know what items are available. I can't tell you how much time I've spent juggling items from storage and my bag to cook different dishes for the bazaars. The number 1 on our list is twofold because they are certainly related. Storage issues run amok in Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, and one major factor tied to storage is freshness. This was a new feature in the Harvest Moon Grand Bazaar game, and it has never been popular. Many of us are used to hoarding items year-round so we have items to make new dishes with or to gift to the townspeople. So, when Grand Bazaar came around, the shipping mechanic was no longer part of the game, and the freshness mechanic made a lot of sense because there are weekly bazaars to sell your wares. Since this is a remake, it makes sense that it is included. I personally like that it adds a little challenge to the game, and it sets it apart from the other games in that unique feature. But it tends to get out of hand when you factor in item rankings for almost everything in the game, plus freshness factors for items that naturally expire, such as food items and fish. Top that off with how many different animals and special items and rankings they can have, and you've got yourself a storage room bursting at the seams. Just let me hoard my treasures like the goblin I am. So there you have it. What do you think of this list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What additional complaints or problems, annoyances, grievances do you have with this game? Depending on what you guys say, we could have another video. This could become a whole series. I don't know. Maybe we'll cover other games and spill the tea about things that we don't like, but you know, that's fine. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment because that'll help me a lot. And of course, you can just share with your friends if you want to. It might help. And especially those who like cozy, farmy, relaxing RPG type games, because that's usually the kind of thing that I play on this channel. And, you know, if you like that sort of thing, then maybe you should subscribe. I don't know. But anyway, hopefully I see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Ta-ta.